Many thanks for staying with us and welcome to another edition of Channels Beam. I'm Victor Mathias. Now, it's been over 100 days since the President, Bola Tinubu, as well as state governors in many states took over the reins of affairs of the country as well as their states, making and taking decisions that they believe are in the best interest of the country. Now, today on the program, we'll be taking a look at how these policies and decisions have impacted the lives of Nigerians and what way the ship is going with these public office holders at the helm. But before we get into that, let's first of all take a look at the trending topics of the past week.
It was a long wait for Nigerians as the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal took over 12 hours to deliver its judgment on a petition filed by presidential candidates of the PDP, APM and Labour Party. Nigerians, however, had mixed reactions after the verdict was delivered, as some felt the judges did their best, while others believe it was a travesty of justice. The presidential candidates of the PDP and Labour Party have since confirmed they will be filing appeals at the Supreme Court. However, Nigerians were again, as always, and the country is united in supporting its national football team on the same page as the Super Eagles did the nation proud by defeating Sao Tome and Principe 5-0 in the final match of the AFCON qualifying match at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo. Napoli forward Victor Osimhen struck thrice as Nigeria confirmed her place in the continental showpiece.
Well, there you go. Those were the trends in the past week. Congratulations to the Super Eagles as well as Nigerians. And, well, we have to wait and see how all of that transpired at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal will play out when, those who lost out said they're going to go to the Supreme Court. That's the PDP as well as the Labour Party. But joining us to look at today's topic, we have with us right here in the Abuja studio, Oladale Adekoya. He joins us, of course, like I said here. He is a writer and editor who has authored several publications and contributions featured on international and local media platforms. He is currently the deputy managing editor of People's Gazette. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
It's a pleasure to be here, Victor.
Absolutely. Maybe I should have, done like a drum roll for you. This is your first time in our Abuja studio after countless visits in the Lagos studio. But again, it's a pleasure to have you share your thoughts on, countless issues. But like I said earlier on, it's over 100 days. We've always put the spotlight, at the center, the presidency. Let's begin with states. Which of the state governors, would you say has stood out in this, how would I put it now, over 100 days or 3 months plus?
Well, that's really going to be difficult because I think most Nigerians, like you said, the concentration has always been on the central government.
Yeah.
And we really not really care much about the state governors. And 100 days since most of them got into office, it's been trying to distribute palliatives, really. Because most of them, they've not been doing much. And if you look at, and evidence of that is what, hardly have you seen any state governor celebrating the usual 100 days with the fanfare that comes with it. I think the only governor that has done something commendable is the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who recently, it has been inaugurated, but now it is now operational. They commenced the operation of the Blue Rail, and we saw how that has been received by Lagosians. A few days ago, I saw videos online on a lot of people now using the transport route. I think it's something commendable. A lot of people have always claimed that the rail system in Lagos State is more or less an utopia that is not going to come to fruition.
Ever be.
Yeah, but we thank God that has been done. Then governor of Borno State as well, the Professor
Babagana Zulum.
Zulum. He seems to be doing a lot as well. We've seen he has commissioned some houses, especially for the IDPs now. Then we've seen the distributions of materials and food as well. I think majorly around the Borno, it has always been welfare, because of the unfortunate fate that has befell that state due to the insurgency over the period of over 10 years now. And apart from that, it's really these are states that are commendable that we can see. Most of the other states have not been doing well. Well, another point, we take someone like Alex Oti. I saw a video of some of the roads he has been doing. The problem with that over the years has always been criticism about the road network, but I think he has faced that. We've seen some that he has done, and we are hoping that he still continues to do more as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, you talked about the palliative sharing. I mean, some would consider that, even though it's welfareist, but some would still consider that a form of a goal, so to speak, now, because as we speak, inflation, it's rising fast, like it's rising super fast. The ability to have purchasing power is pretty much also thin and disappearing. So if you give people, I mean, they would consider that, some form of a goal. I mean, the government could have just decided to hold on to these palliatives, and use it as election or electioneering and campaign as we usually see. But they decided to just put it all out there. So I'm just thinking, don't you think you should perhaps, just give them a score for that?
Well, for me, I've not really been a fan of managing the ailments. And I think that's what we are doing with the palliative. Yes, I understand. I don't understand the elitists, but I understand that people are hungry. The people are suffering, and it is important as a government to look for a way to cushion the effect that the subsidy removal and others have. Of course, the problem we have a huge problem with the forex exchange rate now. We have subsidy removal due to then we have increase in fuel prices, and generally it's been chaotic. And it is important that government finds a way to look for a way to cushion the effect for them. And I think in that regard, it is good. But that is a short-term effect. I always celebrate, and I think it's something that a lot of economists also agree with me. It's important that we celebrate the long-term effects. If you give someone, I've seen videos, we've also seen videos on social media. Some of them are given maybe a module of rice, some bit of gari, and the rest to share. And when you do that, it's fine. People can eat, but that only sustain them, sustain the family for a day or two if you are lucky. What happens after that? So if we are celebrating, and look at it, billions of naira has been sunk into this system. So yes, it offers a temporary relief, but it doesn't solve the problem.
For the long term.
The long term. And the problem is that after giving them a few days later, I was also seeing videos, some are even keeping the palliative. Last week, I've forgotten the state now, that the warehouse had to be burgled by citizens because they needed it. So these are the problems. The politicians are generally not sincere. And so when they bring
some would disagree with you.
Some would disagree. Yeah. Of course, not all as well. Yeah. Not all as well, but some of them are not sincere. And for instance, the central government, the presidency has said, share this across states. Some are still holding it. And that is a problem. Even the Migra, what do you call it now? Migra resources that ought to get to the poor of the poor, they are not releasing it.
So aren't there mechanisms to check or peer review, systems to check who has disbursed or not?
You see, the problem is this. I would have expected the president or the presidency to distribute this to local government chairmen rather than giving it to the governors. And that is the problem. The governors are the alpha and omega of the state. Most of them don't even know what is going on in the grassroots. The local government system has been put in place to ensure a direct relationship between the people and the government. They are the most important, most significant part of our system, of our democratic system. Unfortunately, most states, local government chairmen are majorly appointees of governors. They can remove them at any point in time. Most of them, we've seen over the course of last week now, there have been allegations of governors even opening the account for local government and being the signatory to those accounts. Some of them said
those are allegations.
Those are allegations. Yeah. I'll give you a case of Wale Adedayo in Ogun State. That came up, and we saw the euphoria that greeted the allegations against the governor of the state. He said that the account of his local government, he's not even a signatory to it. His phone number is only included in that account, and he only receives debit and credit alerts. That's the only thing he receives. And that is the problem. So if the president says that we want to get down to the grass, we want to affect the poorest of the poorest, those who are directly affected by the economic downside that we're having across Nigeria presently, it is to ensure that you present or you give such programs that whatever you are having, to ensure that it reaches the local government that has direct access direct access to these individuals, not those that will get them just put in the warehouse and make them will sell allegations of course it is not proven, but the allegation that some of them ends up selling it, some of them keep it and wait for next election year to share it.
So I mean, clearly here you're advocating for local government autonomy.
That is an integral part of our democratic system, not just in Nigeria, across the world. In so-called the system that we copied in Europe or in America, the local government are the one building airports. In Nigeria, a local government chairman cannot even tie a road. That is a problem.
Again, that is left to conjecture because some local government chairman will tell you they have built roads.
No, I don't.
Airports, I agree, but roads, come on.
No, I don't want us to start using Lagos State as a yardstick. Lagos State chairman tie roads because they have a system in place. But for most of the ones I know in Southwest, and again, I'm making to use Ogun State as an example. When the governor was defending the allegations against the now suspended chairman of his local government, what did he say? He said they are the ones that they will tell the chairman to give them the roads, whatever project they need to do, they will be the ones to execute those projects. The first problem is it is not their duty to do that.
No. When the governor says, when they say they, I mean, perhaps he was referring to residents and indigents of that local government.
No, residents cannot even tie roads.
Oh, no, but they would tell their representative what they want.
No, the governors. He said, the SSG said that the governor will tell the local government chairman which project do you want us to take on. They will submit those projects and they will execute it.
As a state government?
As a state government. Unfortunately,
using state government funds?
Yes. No, it's not the state government fund. It's the fund directly from the federal government that belongs to the local government. That's why you have the FAAC. That fund directly belongs to the local government. So why are you supervising over the allocation and the distribution and the execution of the fund that does not belong to you? Again,
all of this is left to conjecture. I mean,
there are allegations.
Yeah,
there are allegations.
Of course, there are allegations.
But these are important allegations that should be looked into, because we are talking about 100 days in office and the direct effect of whatever the policies that the Tinubu administration has done.
Yeah.
It is a necessary and important policy.
Well, it cuts across board. Yeah, it cuts across board.
It's a necessary and important policy, because we cannot afford to retain subsidy as it is, especially on petroleum. And of course, permit me to say, the last administration wrecked whatever is left of our goodwill in the economy in this country.
Again, that's left to conjecture,
yes,
and also an allegation.
I agree with you. Yeah. But we've seen reports and stories coming up from Emefiele in his present interrogation, and we've seen how they handled. You were here when
we haven't seen anything. The DSS has only charged him to court.
You listen to the interview to the presentation given by the former Emir of Kano, Malam Nasir El-Rufai.
No, Mohammed Sanusi.
Mohammed Sanusi. You listen to his interview, and he said he raised a very weighty allegation. I don't know why people are not angry. He said a very young boy from the past administration so brazenly stole our common resources to the point that he bought a private jet.
An allegation again.
Yeah. And I believe that someone of Sanusi, Madam Sanusi, will know, because I want to believe he has information, and he will not just. He is not a frivolous person that will start dropping insinuations in public without having evidence to back it up.
Again, it's an allegation.
Yeah. But the fact remains that has shown how bad the system.
So who are you expecting to look into such allegations? I mean, if someone, like you said, as meticulous as Mohammed Sanusi, would make such allegations, who are you expecting to look into?
Oh, of course, I expect the president to be very angry. Because at the end of the day, all the atrocities that were perpetrated or alleged atrocities already by the last administration does not become a burden for him. Of course, he has inaugurated a committee, an investigative committee that reports directly to him. But I expect him to be angry. Because at the end of the day, people will not judge you.
He perhaps might not show that anger.
He might not show, but people will judge you. Because, of course, nowadays, he can't tell you PDP has failed anymore. Because it's the same party. Now, and people will expect that whatever burden that is led by administration, you are going to, it's going to come on you, and you are also going to find a solution to it. So if he has inherited an economy that is in comatose, that has been rendered naked,
let's even.
Then he really has to start speaking up. I expect 100 days, sincerely, for the Tinubu administration, knowing what took place during that last administration and the allegations and the scandals that followed it. I wasn't expecting more to be done, but I was expecting a lot of revelations, which I've not seen.
Are you expecting revelations or probes or solutions?
Revelations and probes, it's part of it. The only person that has been taken into custody is former CBN governor, Emefiele. But apart from him, who else? Else has to roll. There must be consequences for every action.
Don't you think that's baby steps? We're getting there.
Well, see, baby steps, yes. But this is 100 days. Nigerians are not patient people. They are not patient.
They say, the old saying, the age-old saying, the patient dog, doesn't it apply here?
Patient dogs usually die young nowadays. Nigerians is made up of largely youth-based population that want things done almost immediately. And you have 100 days, and I'm confident that the present administration has evidence, at least to a large extent. He will have been briefed. Evidence will have been submitted to him by various security agencies and agencies that are financially inclined in probing economic atrocities in this country. I'm sure he will have been presented with some evidence. Nigerians want to start seeing the revelations. If people have bankrupt and ruined this country, we want to know their names. It is important. You cannot take a diplomatic approach to issues like this. You and I are aware how much the last administration inherited as far as the exchange rate was. We saw what the letter, it was a brazen disregard for every economic rule, both the micro and the macro. So if we continue this way on the path of diplomacy and patience, it's not going to solve anything. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inherited a catastrophic economy.
Again, that is left to conjecture because
yes,
managers of the economy in the last administration would disagree.
They will disagree.
Exactly.
They will disagree. But it is evidence-based. You and I can feel it in our pulse. We know how much you used to. No, Victor.
I would love this evidence, but let me just hold you there for a quick second. We need to take a quick break. And of course, when I come back, you're going to tell us this evidence like you talked about. We'll take a quick break. I'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us. Oh, many thanks for staying with us. We still have with us Boladale Adekoya with us in the studio. So just before we went on break, you were talking about, what was done and wasn't done, the previous administration, and you wanted to back it up with evidence before we went on break. So let's get back to the evidence again.
Victor, the most obvious evidence that you can require in any system, any government in the world, is the living condition of the citizens. It is very simple. When the President Muhammadu Buhari administration came into power, we saw how much a dollar was compared to a naira. We knew how much a module of gari, rice, beans, and the common food, how much they were selling at the market. We know how much it is presently. We know how much school fees were and how much it is presently. House rents, same thing follows.
Well, speaking of school fees, at least the president has, put a stop to the increase.
Oh, no, of course. See, Nigeria cannot afford anymore. Nigeria cannot afford to live a life of luxury, which we enjoy for a very long time. Of course, every system is expected to subsidize a part of the. Every government is expected to subsidize a part of the system. We subsidize education, we subsidize fuel, and several other things. Electricity then before it was removed. And why the last administration was telling Nigerians, please tighten your belts, let's make sacrifices for the betterment of this country. And they removed subsidy on electricity. It went high. Then they said the partial withdrawal of subsidy on petroleum. They call it partial then. And of course, you know that during the last budget year, it was not included. Why we were making all these sacrifices? Hoping that the people we elected, those in office, will have a resemblance of conscience and fear of God in them. We discovered, at least with what we've seen, that when we were making sacrifices, they were living large. They were they were mishandling this economy.
So what was good for the goose wasn't good for the
Well, it wasn't good. So now, so if you look at all the repercussion of whatever they've done, and how it is affecting us presently, we'll not be quick to blame Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration.
Well, now that we've blamed him, I mean, in the first 100 days, do you think he has taken decisions or he has made policies that would reduce the repercussions that Nigerians are currently feeling?
I believe he has done some. Some I believe he has been too diplomatic with. I've made mention of the areas that I feel he has been diplomatic with.
Yeah.
The ones he has done well with, subsidy removal, hard not to crack, but he had to do it. Now he's working on foreign exchange. We are hoping he's able to get it right. A lot of loopholes in that department. Allegations of even banks being part of the scheme. But that is there as well. So he's working on that. And we've seen that he has appointed some brains. Again, I'll give it to him. Part of this, I'm not really a fan of praising politicians. But if you look at this present administration, some headgets that I believe can get things done. And I think they're doing the right thing. Some like Wale Edun, some like Bosun Tijani. They've been showing the workings, some of the things they can do. And that is what we need. It is too early to say he has failed. But has he done well in the last 100 days? Yes.
It's
if you look at it from the pragmatic point of view, if you look at it from the socialist and welfare part, that affects directly the citizens, of course, the masses, you criticize it because, of course, the cushion effect, the cushions that we usually have, is no longer there. The price of fuel is now almost unpredictable.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, so you always put that, with the dollar rates.
Of course, yes.
And all of that.
Yes. So you look at how sad that has turned out, because a report was out a few days ago as well that a company, permit me not to mention the name,
Absolutely.
listed on the stock exchange, listed across the world, international company, was getting allocation directly from CBN and selling on the black market in this country. So how do you expect force to be forced? What are the process of getting allocation from CBN? It's not what you and I can get. So
Have you tried?
No, you can't even get it. To get it from M in this country, from banks, is usually the process should not take more than 2 weeks.
I mean, some might not know what Form M means. So
Okay, Form M is the form you get for CBN, for the banks to give you to convert your naira to dollar for you to import items. So if you are buying items that are not on the CBN banned list, so and you need to do a transaction outside the country, you fill the form M.
So as we wind down, what do you expect to see in the next 100? Pretty much.
Oh, I expect to see actions. I believe that the honeymoon period is over. I believe that the period for diplomacy is over. It is time that those that have held and mismanaged the economic prosperity of this country are put out there to question. They should be tried publicly. We need that. It's very important.
So you want probes from the
We
previous
want probes. We want to see their faces. We want to know those that have ruined our lives. This is important. And that is one. Let's second on the second part. The administration needs to start releasing its policies. We've had a lot of theories and blueprints. We don't need blueprints. What do you want to do in the next 10 days? What do you want to do in the next 1 week? What do you want to do in the next 2 weeks? 1 month? Nigerians want to see. People are tired. Because the question on the list of every Nigerian is this going to get better? And that's the question that the president needs to answer. And his teams. That's what they need to answer. So if people are having a glimpse of hope that maybe it's going to get better, then we need to start seeing workings.
Well, like you said, we need to start seeing workings. Hopefully we're going to see workings in the very nearest future, perhaps in 10 days, like you said. But obviously, thank you for joining us today on the show and sharing your thoughts. And again, let's just keep the hope alive that all will be well. All of the probes you want to see, and things will just be better, especially in terms of purchasing power, jobs, and all of that for young people to do and be good in society. But again, thanks to you for joining us on the show, Baladala Adekoya, Deputy Managing Editor of People's Gazette. But that's where we'd wrap the show up today as well. And as always, we'd leave you with the movie videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. Thank you so very much for watching. I'm Victor Matthias. It's bye for now.
I've not seen any general who fights on all fronts. Only a dictator who doesn't care about what happens. We want to throw.
This week's Top 5 videos kicks off with the admiration and bashing of FCT Minister by media entrepreneur and publisher of Ovation magazine, Dele Momodu.
In my life, I've never met him. But Bauer was in the FCC.
Observers clearly show that there was a deliberate attempt.
Up next is the reaction to the verdict of the presidential election petition by FCT Minister and a member of the Labour Party.
That has already been made by our judges need to be looked into. Now, the fear here is this.
They were the ones complaining that in the last 8 years, they can't feel the impact of FCT. They are the ones complaining there's no street light again.
Third spot is taken by Mr. Wike again, where he takes a swipe at the presidential candidates of the Labour Party for refusing to accept the presidential election petition tribunal.
Yeah. Right. And now somebody has come on board to say, listen, we're going to put this right.
Intimidated. They must give their decisions regardless of blackmail or intimidation.
Second spot is fiery human rights lawyer Femi Falana, maintaining that candidates have the right to approach the Supreme Court if not satisfied with the verdict of the presidential election petition tribunal verdict.
To examine the evidence, apply the law, and deliver a decision.
While the over 12-hour judgment by judges of the presidential election petition tribunal takes top spot this week as the most viewed video in the past week.
Stated that the election of the second respondent is invalid by reason of non-compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 by Section 134